We all should understand that any organization is built with a vision of the founder. So the founder will have a vision based on which the organization will be established. Strategic leaders create organizational structure, allocate resources, and express strategic vision. Powerful and effective leaders demonstrate their loyalty to their vision by their words and actions. Hello everyone, I'm Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In this Unit 4, Session 3, we will be having a discussion on leadership and behavioral challenges. Now, we should understand what is leadership and what are the behavioral challenges here. So let us see what this unit holds for us. So, strategic leadership refers to a manager's potential to express a strategic vision for the organization or a part of the organization and to motivate and persuade others to acquire that vision. So, we all should understand that any organization is built with a vision of the founder. So, the founder will have a vision based on which the organization will be established. Now, in order to see that that vision gets materialized into action, he will be making that organization or formulating that organization, and it is the duty of the management to see that the vision gets materialized. So, it refers to a manager's potential to express a strategic vision for the organization. So, what is the strategic vision or a part of the organization, and to motivate and persuade others to acquire that vision. So, it is the manager's responsibility to see that he should understand what is the actual vision of the organization, and then he should see that the others also understand, and all their actions are directed towards the attaining of the vision. So, strategic leadership can also be defined as utilizing strategy in the management of the employees. So, in the strategic leadership, it also means utilizing strategy in the management of the employees. So, how do you deal with the employees? What are the ways in which you can try to extract work from the employees? So, it is the potential to influence organizational members and to execute organizational change. So, in this, we should understand that strategic leadership can also be defined as utilizing strategy in the management of employees. So, how do you manage the employees, or how do you interact with the employees? What is the best way of interaction? And also trying to influence the employees to see that they give the best for the organization. Then, strategic leaders create organizational structure, allocate resources, and express strategic vision. So, they create the organizational structure. So, we know that there are various types of organizational structure. So, one is the divisional structure, then we have the functional structure, then we have the matrix type of organization, then project organization. So, there are various types of organizational structures. So, based on the convenience of the management, they will be creating the organizational structure. So, it is the structure, or it is the framework within which the entire organization will work. Then allocate resources. So, they will be allocating the resources based on the structure and expressing the strategic vision of the organization. So, they work in an ambiguous environment on very difficult issues that influence and are influenced by occasions and organizations external to their own. So, these strategic leaders, they work in an ambiguous environment. So, they won't know what kind of environment will be. So, we all know that the business environment is dynamic. It keeps on changing. So, in this changing environment, how do you work? So, that is how the leaders have to adapt themselves to the environment, and then they have to work. So, they will be working on difficult issues that influence and are influenced by occasions. So, there may be certain changes in and around the business environment, and it is the strategic leader who will see that all these issues are resolved and the activities of the organization runs smoothly. So that kind of a leader, we call it as the strategic leader. Then next is the main objective of strategic leadership is strategic productivity. So a strategic leader should be very, very productive. So his strategic productivity should be there in the sense that whatever the production is carried out, it should be as per the plans. Then another aim of strategic leadership is to develop an environment in which employees forecast the organization's needs in the context of their own job. So another aim of strategic leadership is to develop an environment in which employees forecast the organization's needs. So what is the organization's needs, and then they have to see what is their role in the fulfillment of the organizational needs. They encourage the employees in an organization to follow their own ideas. So they encourage the employees in the organization to follow their own ideas. Then next one, strategic leaders make greater use of reward and incentive system for encouraging productive and quality employees to show much better performance for their organization. So you should understand that the strategic leaders, they make use of the reward and incentive system. So they are very generous in rewarding the employees, and they're very generous in giving the incentives to the employees, so that the employees perform much better in their jobs. So they should see that they give a lot of rewards and incentives in order to extract the most efficient jobs from the employees. The functional strategic leadership is about inventiveness, perception, and planning to assist an individual in realizing his objectives and goals. So he should be very, very inventive. He should have the perception and also planning to assist an individual in realizing his own objectives and goals. Then next, let us understand what are the characteristics of the leader. So few main characteristics or traits or features of effective strategic leaders that lead to superior performance are loyalty. Now, what are the qualities of a good leader? So powerful and effective leaders demonstrate their loyalty to their vision by their words and action. So the loyalty, so this is one of the main characteristics a leader should have. So he should be most loyal to the organization. Then second one is keeping them updated. Efficient and effective leaders keep themselves updated about what is happening within their organization. They have various formal and informal sources of information in the organization. So all these leaders, whoever are there, they should keep themselves updated about what is going on in the environment. So what is going on in the organization, whether it is formal or informal, they should maintain their own sources of information. Then next one is judicious use of power. Strategic leaders make a very wise use of their power. They must play the power game skillfully and try to develop consent for their ideas rather than forcing their ideas upon others. They must push their ideas gradually. So the judicious use of power. Strategic leaders make very wise use of their power. So we all know that a leader is one who has a lot of influence over his subordinates or his followers. So he will have lot of power. So if he just tells them, followers will be willing to do whatever the leader is telling. So they must play the power game skillfully. So whatever power he has with him, he should make use of it very skillfully and develop consent for their ideas. So whatever ideas he has, he should see that the followers develop consent for them rather than forcing upon them. So he should not have any coercion or force and get the work done. He should see that they automatically fall in line with his ideas. Then have wider perspective outlook. Strategic leaders just don't have skills in their narrow specialty, but they have little knowledge about a lot of things. So they have a little knowledge of all the things. The next attribute is the motivation. They must have a zeal for work that goes beyond money power, and also they should have an inclination to achieve goals with energy and determination. So motivation, so they should be highly motivated, and then so they must have a zeal for work that goes beyond money power. So they should not always think about money when they are working. So they should be highly motivated in order to see that they get the work done. Then compassion. They must understand the views and feelings of their subordinates and make decisions after considering them. So compassion is one quality every leader should have. So he should have the empathy towards his subordinates, and he should have those feelings. He should understand the feelings of the subordinates. Then the next one is self-control. The strategic leaders must have the potential to control distracting, disturbing moods and desires. They must think before acting. So their self-control is one trait which every strategic leader should have. The next one is the social skill. They must be friendly and social. Then self-awareness. So they must have the potential to understand their own moods and emotions as well as their impact on others. So the strategic leader should have a self-awareness. Now what is self-awareness? He must have the potential to understand their own moods. So what is the mood in which he is having and what kind of influence it will have on his subordinates? All this he should understand. And then readiness to delegate and authorize. Effective leaders are proficient at delegation. They are well aware of the fact that delegation will avoid overloading of responsibilities on the leaders. They also recognize the fact that authorizing the subordinates to make decisions will motivate them a lot. So now readiness to delegate and authorize. Now what do you mean by delegation? Delegation is nothing but the transfer of authority from the superior to the subordinates. So whenever he is delegating some of his job to the subordinate, so it will be because he knows that that subordinate is capable of handling all the power. So he should be able to delegate. He should know what are those activities which he can delegate and those which he cannot delegate. And then articulacy. Strong leaders are articulate enough to communicate the vision of where the organization should head to the organizational members in terms that boost those members. So articulacy means they should be able to communicate the vision of the organization to all the members. So the vision, mission and the objectives should percolate along all the levels of the management in order to see that the organization strives towards attainment of the objectives of the organization. Then last trait is the constancy or reliability. Strategic leaders constantly convey their vision until it becomes a component of organizational culture. So the vision of the organization should be so very percolated into the management to see that it becomes the organizational culture. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.